Be blessed by the divine bliss. Be blessed by the divine bliss. May the noble thought surround us. May the noble thought, may the divine energy surround us. Let my mind get peace. Let my surrounding get peace. May the whole world get peace. Peace, peace, peace. Most respected divine brothers and sisters, good evening. I'm happy to present my view on my research on Yogam for managerial excellence. Yogam in the sense communion with nature, communion with the body, soul, with the society, as well as to the nature. Nature consists of environment as well as the public. So that is the Yogam. Then the concept of managerial excellence in the sense management is a process of creating and maintaining an environment in which group of individuals are working together towards the accomplishment of organizational goal. In that case, planning, organizing, staffing, leading, controlling. So that is the main focus about the functions of the management. So let's see how these yoga practices contributed to the each and every dimensions. The first dimension is called planning. Planning is consciously deciding the next course of actions. So that is the key definition about the planning set by the Coombs and Rodiner. So we have to consciously designing the next course of actions. So in that, there are two parts. First one is understanding the problem. The next part is the decision-making process. So understanding the problem, in the sense, understanding the environment, assess the problem, then confine to the problem. So that is the first part. That is the general way of. And in that also, these yoga practices help us to identify the key result area of a particular problem. Rather than vaguely assessment, the practice of the yoga will help us to measure the key results area assessment. So after that, in the decision making process, generally we classify as generate more alternatives, evaluate the alternatives, and select the best. So in that aspects also, for generate the more alternatives, unless your mind is in the delta state, so it is the open state of the mind, then you can able to generate more number of alternatives. So it is in beta or alpha state. It is an emotional state of mind, you cannot able to generate more alternatives. And similarly, evaluation of the alternatives also, you must be in the neutral state of mind. Then you can be able to evaluate what is right, what is wrong, what is best suited for this situation, what is not suited for this situation. So that aspects also the yoga practices help the individual, the managers, to assess the neutral way of assessment. You know that attitude in the sense positive attitude, negative attitude, neutral attitudes. So the neutral state of mind where the parent ego, adult ego, child ego are neutralized. It is the parent integration of adult integration of child ego. So that focus is called the neutral attitude, which will be highly essential in the evaluation of the alternative. And choose the best automatically will happen in the third step. So these yoga practices help the managers in the best planning process. And again, there are different types of planning, and this mind is the mightiest power of deciding the next course of actions. The second one is we call it as organizing. Organizing is a process of interlinking the interrelated activities. That is called the organizing. In this organizing also, the equanimity in the state of mind and equally treating the people is very essential. So we should not be any biased in these situations. So we have to be, then only you can able to identify what is the end of an activity, what is the starting point of an activity. We can able to trace out the connectivity of the different type of activities. The yoga practices help the individuals to generally what Vedatri model used to say that the yoga practices increases the perspicacity, perceptional ability. I mean, perception is a process of the way in which we see the realities. So the as you know that there are a lot of bias in the perception bias, maybe the individual bias or environmental bias or the situational bias or the object what we see that create a bias. And this yoga practices will eradicate the bias and make the people to view that the reality in real way, that is called as perspicacity. So this perspicacity is very much useful in the planning process, first of the planning process. In the organization point of view, the receptivity is very high. Receptivity is very high, observation is very high, then we can able to find out the link between one activity to the another activities. The third step of the management function called staffing. Staffing consists of leadership and communications. I mean, people skills. The leadership and the communication, if you take that communication, make others to understand. Make others to understand. The process of communication is sender, then decode the one and process to the channel, then the receivers is encoding that. Sorry, sender is encoding, the receiver is decoding. If the person is perfectly doing that yoga practices, then the person can able to match with the decoding process of the receiver and encoding process of the senders. So this has to be equalized. Then the communication is the make others to understand that one of the process of transferring idea, thoughts, feelings, facts, figures from one person to another person with understanding. Understanding how it will happen and the feedback. So the yoga practices person, they will have the feedback and the connectivity is very high in the communication process. As a result, the leadership process, the leader is a humanistic based, democratic style of leadership, and in somewhere you can use the application of the bureaucratic. So the proper way of applying the different types of leadership styles, transformational leadership, transactional leadership styles, super leadership styles by way of managing the people with the intuition, inspirations, and instincts. So this is the way the person who can able to do the yoga practices consistently, then that guy is doing proper way of adaptability in a particular situation. That adaptability increases the communication rate. Communication rate, the best communicator is the best leader. So planning, organizing, staffing, and managing the people skill, then leading, controlling. So leadership, again, the leadership process is of um, take the initiativeness, and the proactiveness, and lead the team, or binding the individual interest towards the common interest. So that way is the yoga practices help the people not only the self what do you call that self interest, but also of the team interest. So this yoga practicing people convert the group effects into team effect. So by the way of synergy, you know that synergy is the concept of channelizing the energies of two individuals more than numerical value of 1 plus 1 is equal to 5 or 2 plus 2 is equal to 6. So that means the sum of the numerical value of these individual energy as channelized into abundant divine energy. So the output is more. The output is more, and the achievement is a lot. So that is the success of the yoga practices. One of the study has proved that the people, those who are regularly practicing yoga, occasionally practicing yoga, non-practicing yoga, there are three groups. A discriminative analysis has made in that the occasionally practicing people, they are not successful in the self-management as well as the socialization process. They are in the negative category. Whereas occasionally practicing yoga, that means monthly once or weekly once, that people, they are the managing self is fine, excellent in the positive attitude, but socialization is not that much of positive side, it is in the negative side. Only the regularly practicing yoga people, there the socialization is positive. The socialization is the positive side, both self management as well as the socialization. So that is the positive side of the person. So that's why the leadership quality, not only they have to manage themselves, but also manage the team. So these yoga practices improve that team building effect of leadership, and that is the as per the research proved by that. Then controlling is a process of assessing the plan and execution, the current course of action, find out the deviation, taking corrective measures. Corrective measures. So the assessment process is pakka. Then the controlling process is communion with the planning process. Here, not only the adaptivity, magnanimity is highly essential. So the magnanimity is essential. Then only they can accept the deviation limits. What is the deviation limit? Determine. Then they can fix the deviation limit. Then they will take a corrective measures. They will choose the best measures to reach that planning process. So that is the main the yoga practices helps us to keep on monitor and consistent efforts and induce the individuals using their intuitions and insight, reach the destiny in a appropriate manners. So there are three things are essentials in the human management process. One is instinct, another one is intuitions, another one is third one is called insight. Here, the instinct is the biological feelings, the biological languages, the physiological languages. So that is called that the thirsty, hungry, then all the emotional feelings and the biological feelings of that part. So the person must be able to understand his own physiological and biological feelings. So that is called the empathy. Once they understand their own physiological instinct, then they can able to understand, they can able to sense the other person's instinct and all those things. So this will be highly essential to delegation of the authorities. Delegate the authority. The people normally in the organizing process, normal people they don't delegate the authorities. They will delegate the responsibilities. Whereas the yoga practicing people, they will delegate the degree of authorities and they will accept the responsibilities. They will accept the responsibility with us. So this delegation of authority is proper if the person is consistently practicing yoga practices. Similarly, in the management, I'll give one of the few findings what I observed in my research work. I took one of the cooperative sugar mill as an experimental study, another cooperative sugar mill as an what you call the control group. Whereas in the experimental study, we have conducted the yoga practices, all the executives, nearly 3 months consistently, then followed by another 6 months, 6 to 7, 8 months. So at about 1 year, I have been observing that experimental group with the control group. Now, very beautiful results I have received, I have seen from that study. The result is that the experimental group in that particular year, the cash conversion ratio, the inventory conversion ratio, the cooperative sugar mill success is it is a controlled market, and they are purchasing sugarcane from the agriculturists, and they are converted into sugars, and they stock it. During the practice of the yoga, the companies sold all the sugar bags in a lump sum manner in a purchase of central government, and that is the first time the sugar factory, the experimental, I mean the yoga practice sugar factory, that the cash conversion, the inventory conversion cycle is very fast, and they converted the all the sugar finished goods inventory into a cash, and they are given a cash properly to that agriculture is the first time. Whereas the control group that is not that much of efficient, miracle efficient not happened when compared to this one. And similarly, the way in which the executives are moving uh, with the subordinates compare the previous practice, otherwise pre and post practices of these yoga practices, miracle effects. The emotional balance is increasing. As a result, the output is very high. The output is very high, and the health process is also very high. Health conscious is increasing, awareness is increasing, then self esteem is increasing, the self efficacy concept is also uh, positive side of uh, positive side of the increase. So this is the experimental study about. From that experimental study, we can understand that the practice of this yoga, the practice of the yoga, that means simple asanas, pranayama, then Vedatri model of schools of yoga I had applied in that experimental group. So simple asanas, pranayama, kayakalpa practices, then again meditations, Ajna Chakra meditations, then Muladhara meditations, then Duriya Chakra meditation, then Duryadhya meditation, then introspection. Introspection, assessment of one's own thought by oneself is called the introspection, with silence observations. So these practices enhances enhances the uh, enhances the efficiency of the managerial efficiency of a particular organization. It's a government cooperative based organization. The efficient, a lot of constraints, a lot of constraints. For any decision they have to take, they have to get the approval from the superior. So, in spite of all the conditions and constraints, the yoga practicing organization is excellently excellent. So that is the findings that I derived from that particular research work. What I have done it. Similarly, the yoga practices, it increased the tone and voice of an individual. It increased the tone and voice of the individual because it's a divine energy, and the thyroid functions also get balanced. So, this is a very happiest things that one. Then the managerial process, other one is called as visualization process. Visualization is emotionally view, imagination of good things that will happen in the future. That will happen in the future. So that power of imagination The power of visualization is very much increasing in the by the practice of yoga practices. So this is the way that uh, the managerial excellence is consistent with the practice of the consistently manner. The daily practice, the daily 1 hour practice of this yoga will increase the uh, quantum effects in their life, in the future, in their life as abundant environments. So once again, wish you all the best for your International Yoga Day celebrations. So let us all take the oath that whatever things that we have learned in the yoga practices, that we have to do consistently in our life till our last breath. So that is the only oath we have to take in the International Yoga Day. So I thank Jayanti Eka and Ananda for giving this wonderful chance to meet the international yoga yogis, international yogis. So Jayanti Eka is doing wonderful job in the Anandana. They are doing Anandana. They are doing wonderful job in the yoga services, especially uh, their best junior. Ammu, we call it as Ammu. Ammu is having 3 or 4 um, uh, records in the asanas practices. So that shows the value of yoga and the credibility of the great family of Jayanti Eka and Ananda Padmanabhanna on yoga practices. Thank you so much for this great opportunity. Be blessed with the divine bliss. Be blessed with the divine bliss. Be blessed with the divine bliss. May the whole world get peace and prosperity. May the whole world get peace and prosperity. Yoga Samasta Suvino Bhavan. Peace, peace, peace.